Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode here in NHL 22. So I am recording this episode a couple hours after the last episode went up, so I apologize that I am not getting to any comments because I don't think there's going to be any comments. Anyways, there might be one or two, but I do have a suggestion in mind for potential trades for this episode, but I think our team might not need to make much changes anyways, so you guys probably would say that anyways, keep this team as is and just see how the rest of the season sims out. But I do have a trade I think that makes sense for our team to be a little bit better defensively, just because I'm not really fully sold on our defensive core right now going into like potentially the playoffs and all that type of thing. But I think I found a way that kind of improves our defense a bit. So first, let me show you guys what our team looks like at this stage. As you can see, we got good chemistry throughout our entire lineup. I don't think we have any injuries. Yeah, we don't have any injuries at the moment. But I do have an idea in mind to kind of make this defensive core a little bit better. Like, I'm not really sold on DeMaio and Bielsma. Both of them are at +6, which is good, but I don't think I'm really sold on it fully, at least going into the playoffs wise and stuff like that. So I do have a trade in mind to kind of bolster our top four a little bit more, and then we'll probably move somebody like Guerrero down to the top 6 pairing, I think. Yeah, we'll probably move Guerrero down to the top 6, and then more than likely we're going to send down Bielsma back to the AHL, just because I think he needs a little bit more development time. Like, he hasn't been terrible, but I would like to get him some growth, and he hasn't been growing at all this season still, even though he's been in the NHL. So I think we are going to send him down to the AHL, and we're more than likely going to let him get some good development down there in the minors, and we're going to bring in a defenseman that could help out our top four, I think, going into the playoffs in terms of overall rating and all that. He's somebody that we could actually afford as well, which is also kind of surprising because we are kind of tight on the cap space situation, but this team should be really good if we bring this guy in overall wise in terms of both offense and defense. Because right now, if we go to our draft board situation and we look at our forward depth, as you can see right now, we are really good offensively. If we go to defense, though, we are rated a C, which is very questionable, especially going into the playoffs. We only have one top 2, 2 top 4s, and then 2 top 6s, and then basically Bilesma's an AHL defender, and then Asplund's a depth defenseman. So if we bring in at least one more top 4, that way we actually have a legitimate top 4, and I think that would definitely help us out. Goalie-wise, we're strong as well, so basically this is the one thing I think that we kind of need if we want to be a good team in the playoffs and all that type of thing. So we are going to be making a trade. You guys probably saw my suggestion in the last video because I did actually add some text after I recorded the video for my suggestion, and that was trading for Carson Lambos on the Minnesota Wild. So if we go over to the trading block, Minnesota does have him on the block, and he's only signed for one more year at, what was it, 4.965, which we could afford. He's an 84 overall defenseman as well, top 4. He does have some good defensive stats. He also could help out offensively, and it looks like he does fit our top 4, which is good. So I think he might be a good fit for either that first pairing or that second pairing. It depends really where he fits best. But yeah, we're going to bring him in, and I'm hoping that he could help us out in terms of playing better defensively and making a run for a Stanley Cup this potential season. So basically, I did go to the trade finder, and there is only one option that kind of was enticing to me with making a trade with the Minnesota Wild for Lambos. And it does involve giving up a prospect that we recently drafted who's been developing quite well, quite fast. But I don't really know if I'm sold on that, guys, so I think it's going to be a good move for our team to make. And yeah, so let's go to the trade finder. As you can see, this first offer I'm not really sold on because Hordachuk has top 4 potential. He's developing, I believe, pretty decently. And then there's also a 4th and 5th involved, which obviously I could give up the 4th and 5th, no problem, but I'm still not really sold on giving up Hordachuk. There was also this one with Appleby, which I'm not really sold on because he's playing in the AHL right now, I'm pretty sure. This one is the one I was looking at, and then there was also Galiev. So Galiev, I don't really think I want to give up on because we do need a backup eventually for Hornquist. But the Plekhanov one, I think, makes the most sense. Now, Plekhanov was a late pick. He does have top 6 potential, and he is developing quite well. He's up to a 59 now. I'm pretty sure we drafted him at a 49 overall. But he is developing quite well, but his attributes still really don't scream like an NHL player to me. He is a former 5th rounder, so I don't think he's going to reach that top 6 potential anytime soon. And we want to win a Stanley Cup as soon as possible. So basically this trade would be him and a 2nd round pick to get Carson Lambos, and he would fit into our cap situation. He'd help out our top 4, and then we could send Bilesma, like I said, down to the minors, where he should probably be able to get some growth, and that will be better for us for next season because then he could take over that role that we had for him at the beginning of the season. So I think this is the trade we're going to be making, Plekhanov in a 2nd for Lambos, and then our defensive core should be pretty strong in terms of our lineup, and we should be a good team for the rest of the regular season and hopefully for the playoffs as well. Hopefully we don't hurt our chances at getting past the first round, but we are going to do this trade. So thank you for your short time here, Plekhanov. You never got to play a game with our organization, but we wish you the best of luck, and hopefully he pans out for Minnesota, because he might end up being a really good steal at some rate. So there's our trade. Carson Lambos is now a member of the Arizona Coyotes, and like I said, we are going to be sending down... I guess he already got sent down, did he? Yeah, he already got sent down. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, let's go to edit lines here, and let's throw in a random forward first that is scratched, just so we can kind of get this readjusted the exact way I need it. So Gallant, let's just throw you there for a second. Let's take out Guerrero, and let's throw in Lambos. Hopefully he works well there. He does. Okay, that's good. And let's take out Gallant now, and we'll throw in Guerrero on that top 6 pairing because he does work really well there. And yeah, that should be good. Yeah, that looks good. The chemistry is not as good, but it does make that top 4 a little bit stronger. Yeah, we're going to run with that. So Chikrin and Lambos, and then Sasaki and Tukin and DeMaio and Guerrero. Now our defensive core should have a better overall, I'm pretty sure. And we are better in front of our goaltending now. That looks good. Let me just make sure that Bilesma is dressed in the AHL. So we are going to just take out a random forward that's playing defense. So I will take out Spalling. And we'll put in Bilesma, move him to the top pairing if I can. Yeah, we'll move him to the top pairing with Ortmeyer. Kind of readjust his defensive core a little bit. And then also let's make sure that Bilesma gets some like penalty kill time and whatnot as well, because he is a shutdown defenseman. So I want to make sure he gets as much development as possible. But yeah, hopefully he's a good NHL defenseman for next season. So we'll just throw him in all these penalty kill spots, and that should be good. Perfect. So that is good, and now our team looks, I think, a lot stronger. Yeah, I think this is definitely the best team we've had in this entire franchise mode. So hopefully this team could get pretty far, because we're definitely going to make the playoffs, I think. But it just comes down if we could get past round 1 or not. We still also have $5 million in cap space, so there is the opportunity for us to make more trades at the deadline. But I don't think we're going to do that. We're probably more than likely going to just simulate the rest of the season in this episode. So let me actually take a look at the draft board again and see if that did help out our defensive rating. It probably should have. Yep, it brought it all the way up to an A+. So we are now A+ in everything, which is exactly what we need. Now we just need a Stanley Cup to confirm that this team is actually as good as it says it is. So let's start simulating some more of the season and get up to the trade deadline and see how this team is. And yeah, hopefully Lambos could do pretty good in Arizona. If he's minus, it's not the end of the world, because like this team just needs to make the playoffs. That's all I care about. And then also, obviously, we need to win a Stanley Cup sooner or later. Especially with like Lambos just being a pure rental type of player. We're just trying to go all in and win a Stanley Cup. And we're winning every single game since acquiring Lambos, which is good. As it should be, as we just lose after I mentioned that to Dallas 6-5. Who was it that was back? Silverberg. Where was he playing? It's probably, yeah, it was where Spalling was, because Spalling was playing defense at one point. So we'll take him out. There we go. Okay. Game against Tampa is a win. That's good to see. Lauzon on waivers. That's not bad. He is a top 6 defenseman, no, so he's probably going to complain about ice time if we used him as a depth defenseman, so I'm not going to do anything. But that could be something we look at. 2 depth defensemen, no thank you. I don't need more defenders. I just acquired Carson Lambos. It's kind of pointless to bring in more defensemen, I think, unless there's a depth defenseman that could kind of help us out a little bit more, because I'm not sold on our depth defender that we currently have, but you never know. We are losing a little bit of games, which is kind of bad, but it is what it is. Olivier Rodrigue on waivers. No thanks. I don't think I need him. He's not a bad goalie, but I don't think I need a depth goaltender, because we do got some in the system as well. Shishkinov has been injured. That is not great, but it's at least not too long term, because obviously Shishkinov needs to stay healthy if this team wants to go far, and Sapolvyov's now been injured as well. Let's go replace player. At least those ones aren't too long term, because we will have them back. Gallant has now been injured. What is with all these injuries right before the deadline? Because that was a depth forward that just got injured. Huh. So Asplund, you're out. Sapolvyov, you're back in. And then, yeah, Gallant's injured. Shishkinov should be back soon to replace Mr. Lou Wolf. But yeah, this team is going through a little bit of troubles, but it is what it is. I don't want to be too good of a team right now in the regular season, because if we're too good, we're not going to make it out of the first round, more than likely. So, and now Byfield has been injured. That is a big loss, but at least it's not too long term. Let's go replace player. And we're now 39, 17, and 3. We still have a week before the actual deadline itself. Michkov is up to 71 points. He's got 40 goals in 59 games. Jeez. Insane. He's now got like 104 goals with us in his first 2 seasons here, which I think is insane. And obviously he's still signed for another like 7 seasons, I'm pretty sure. And so far we are the top team in our division, not the top team in the league, but we don't want to be the top team in the league probably, because they're also, like I said, I feel like we'd be a first round exit. So let's continue assimilating up to a day before the deadline, but Byfield should be back just after the trade deadline. I don't really know if we need to make any more trades to kind of give us a little bit more depth at center and whatnot, as Gallant is back, but I don't think he was a full-on roster player anyways. Yeah, he was an injury player anyways. So Wolf is playing center right now. He could win faceoffs, so that's good. He's at least a decent depth option. We lost to Carolina, and yeah, now we're 39, 18, and 3 a day before the deadline. Does this team need to make moves? Let's take a look at if this team needs to make moves or not. More than likely, we don't. Any badly minus players? No concerns on the forward core. Defensively, no complaints either. Lambos here has been a good shutdown defenseman, +5. 2 points only, but +5 is what I'll take. He also does have 19 PIMs in 19 games, which is a little bit weird, but still, good shutdown defenseman to put next to Chicker, and I'll definitely take that. See, I don't think this team needs to make changes. Goalie-wise, how are we looking? Pretty good. A little bit weak on Hornquist, but it is what it is. But yeah, I think this team's fine. I do not think we need to make any more trades, as long as we could stay healthy. Because Byfield will be back within the next few days. So yeah, anyways, let's get into the trade deadline just to see if there's anything out there. If there's anything we want to trade for, then we'll trade for it. But if not, I think this team is good enough as is. And you guys probably would agree with me on that front as well, because this team is probably the most stacked we've had. So let's just take a look and see if there's anything out there that could help us. Dallas is trading away another really good player, so Dallas is still going through some troubles. Provorov on 1 year left, but we can't afford that. See, that's the thing. We don't have a lot of cap space either, so we can't really make much trades. There's a lot of good defenders out there, but we already just brought in our defensemen. Let's see. Available. Let's just look at the best names out there. I don't think there's really anything I want, to be honest. Like, there is good options out there, but, like, literally, what are we going to do with our cap space situation? Like, we want to kind of just keep the team as is, I think, and see what happens. Even though there's like Barkov out there, there's former players as well, like Schmaltz, and Keller was out there too. Jordan Cairo at 1 year left. But most of these guys are all like 32 plus, so we don't really need a lot of old guys on this team. Nick Malik, not a bad backup goalie, but we already got one. Hey, look who it is. Drew Lawrence is on the blocker, former player of ours that we traded away in order to get Michkov's rights, was on the block. It's funny. 25 years old. He's having a good season, so that's good to see. But yeah, Dallas is fire selling everything. That organization has been through a lot, it seems like, in this franchise mode, because they have not won or not got to the playoffs yet, and now they're trying to trade away a lot of players again. So Riley's on the block in Carolina, who we traded away to get to Aho. So I don't know why these teams are trying to trade away players. We just traded them, but it is what it is. Yeah, I don't think we're going to make any trades. I think it's probably pointless for us to make trades. So yeah, let's get out of this. And yeah, we'll take a quick look, I guess, around the league and just see what trades happened. But I'm pretty sure most of it is just going to be EA generated, guys. Cole Sillinger gets dealt out to Seattle. The first going the opposite way and looks like some prospects. Jacob Melanson on waivers. Do we want to claim him? Not really. He's listed as a fourth liner, so he's probably actually higher than this. But I don't really think I need him because we do have like Lou Wolf and whatnot. So we are going to decline that. Let's take a look at the trades that happened just for fun. Even there's probably nothing huge out there, but it is what it is. Apparently Shelley just had a 4-point night, so that's good to see him picking it up near the end of the season. Any interesting trades? Philip Hronik to Anaheim. Connor Zary to Montreal. Yeah, there's mostly EA generated guys. Jabot and Glass going to Minnesota for Marco Rossi and Mackenzie Blackwood. That's actually a pretty good trade. Hoglander and Riley get dealt to Seattle, so Riley's off to his third team in less than a year. Anything else? Dawson Mercer to Ottawa, Jack Quinn to Ottawa. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the trades. Interesting. So yeah, let's continue to simulate and get this team to the playoffs like they're going to be. And it's just all about getting past that first round now. And hopefully, if we could get past that first round, we could go farther than that and on to like the Cup Finals at least. Because this team is pretty stacked, I would say. Like offensively, defensively, etc. So Byfield has returned from his injury. That is good news. We'll take out Mr. Lou Wolf, and Byfield is back in there. And yeah, our team is looking pretty good. Hopefully Shelley's scoring a lot more since the start of the year because he was struggling a bit. And oh my god, you got to be joking me. Well, that is a slap to the face. This game has slapped me so many times, but Stefan Pedersen has suffered a post-concussion syndrome. Maybe we should have brought in a depth goalie. So he's out till May the 17th, which means he's going to be missing at least up till like round 3, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Which means we're going to have to rely on Hornquist, who is in his first NHL season. At least he's a high overall. And he's actually listed as a starter. But to lose your starting goalie is not good. At least Galiev looks like he's getting good development. But still, I don't like the fact that we just lost our starting goaltender. So we'll have to see how Hornquist is. But Hornquist should do good, I would say. But I'm still worried the fact that we just lost a goalie that's probably in his last year here. And is off to a really good start this year. Like a 9.16 and a 2.54. As opposed to Hornquist, who has an 8.96. Maybe Hornquist is just better as a starter, though not as a backup. So, guess we'll see if Hornquist could get us to that spot. Because if that injury is what loses us like this season, that is not good. I knew I maybe should have brought in a depth goalie, but I was not expecting Pedersen to just randomly go down with a post-concussion syndrome that long. So, that is a long-term injury. He's out for like 2 months. Let's go replace player. And let's put in Osgood back into the lineup. Oh, geez, Osgood went to the forward spot. I don't want that. Oh, there's no other depth players? Are you kidding me? Wow. Okay, the AHL does not have a lot of depth. But it is what it is. We'll just leave it like that for now. But yeah, hopefully Hornquist could just get us those W's. Let me just stop the simulation because I cannot see what actually is happening in terms of the sim. So we'll throw Kagerodov back in, and then we'll go back to Osgood. Yeah, Bilesma is getting growth down here in the minors. So it is good that we decided to put him down in the minors because he's up to a 78 now. He's got 7 points. Actually, no, 10 points in 27 games, and he's a plus 17. So he's getting some really good stats down there in the AHL. Which is exactly what I wanted from him. So we've lost a couple games in a row. We're kind of struggling a bit. Could be because of that injury. But yeah, maybe Hornquist will be a better playoff goalie. because I don't know if I'm still sold on Pedersen in terms of the playoffs. Like, he was good last year, but he was really bad the years before that. Looks like we're getting a lot of wins all of a sudden. We're almost at 50 wins already, and we still have like 10 games left, I think. So let's get the rest of these done. There's another win. A shootout loss, another win. Yeah, this team is yoked. Final few games of the season. Geeky has suffered an MCL sprain. Are you kidding me? We have now suffered a big loss on offense. So our team is going to have to go through a lot to get into the next round. We've just lost our top center and our top goaltender in less than a month apart, which is not good. So we'll just try and move everybody up a line, I guess, and we'll throw Lou Wolf in here. Oh, man. Lou Wolf actually works on the power plays, so we could try him there. Oh, Sebastian Aho is a center. Do I try that? Maybe. Yeah, you know what? I could try Aho up here and then try and move Shelly up. Try something random. But, yikes. I could technically use Aho as a second line center instead, but I don't think I'm going to do that yet. How good is Bentley's face-offs? Not really that great. Let's try Aho at center instead. And then like move Shishkinov up, move Bentley to that center spot. And then Wolf actually has good face-off, so I'll keep him there. Yeah, I'll run with something like that. But, of course, we have to suffer an injury to Geeky right at the end of the season as well. And we're going to finish 54, 23, and 5. But we do have 2 big injuries going into the playoffs, and that is pretty concerning, I'd say. We do finish with 113 points, which is the best in the entire NHL. So we won the President's Trophy, I think, which is not good. That might be a curse for this team. But let's take a look at the entire league standings. Yep, we finished first by 2 points. 54, 23, and 5. Our goals for per game, we are the best offensive team by quite a large margin, by 20 goals. Goals against per game wise, we were one of the best defensive teams as well, even though we did lose Pedersen kind of late in the season. Power play percentage wise was not too bad either. Top 10 power play, 19.2%. And our penalty kills, 78.1, which is still one of the worst in the league. The second worst in the league, yet we still won the President's Trophies, so not 100% sure with what is wrong with the penalty kill. And yeah, we're 7-1-2 in our last 10, which is kind of scary that our team might just fall apart in round 1, which hopefully is not the case. Let's take a look at these player stats. So, starting off with our centerman, Sebastian Aho, 76 points in 82 games. Not exactly what I was expecting from him when I traded for him, but I mean, it's still really good. He's still listed as a first liner, but he is dropping off, I think, and he's 34. So he might end up retiring soon, which is not good. Byfield, 67 points in 79 games and a plus 30. I like that. Hopefully he does better in the playoffs than he did last year. 55 points from Geeky, which is pretty good. A plus 28. Sucks that he went down with an injury so late in the season. 47 points from Bentley, mostly on the third line. That's pretty good. Plus 9. Sepulvey 23 points and a plus 4. I believe only on the fourth line. Yeah, only on the fourth line. That's pretty good. So our offense is looking pretty good. Left wing wise, Agostino hits 100 points for the first time in his career. Love to see that. He is playing so good next to Michkov. Like, since playing with Michkov, he's got 193 points in the last 2 years. That is great to see. Less power play points this year, but a better shooting percentage, more goals. Love to see that. Almost at 700 points, and he's only played 733 games. How much takeaways did he have this year out of curiosity and stuff like that? 77 takeaways, so less takeaways this year, but still really good all-around play from Agostino. Shishkinov, 49 points is pretty good, mostly assist-related, but still I'll take that, considering he was mostly just on the power play and third line. McGill's 30 points, that's pretty good. From a guy that just mostly played fourth line, I'm pretty sure as well. Maybe some penalty kill time as well. Yeah, some penalty kill time. Only 9:44 on ice, but 30 points. Love that. Michkov, 101 points and 56 goals. Loving Matvei Michkov here. He's doing pretty well. Almost did as good as last year. Less goals, but almost around the same amount of points. Better plus minus. So he's got 203 points in his first 2 years here. Shelley, 65 points and 34 goals. Not too bad. Plus 30 as well. Yeah, a little bit better than last year as well. Less goals again, but he's becoming more of an all-around type of player. Like, he's not just scoring goals, he has a really good career plus minus. So I still do like Shelley, but I don't really know if his contract is really worth it, but at least he only has 3 more years left after the season. And then we could get him for probably less money. Gallagher, 43 points and a plus 12. That's pretty good. Redmond, 35 points, plus 12 like that. And nothing from our depth guy. Chikrin, 57 points and plus 35. I like that. That's really good. He is dropping off in production, though, I think. But at least he is probably close to retirement. Tukinen, 27 points, plus 28. DeMaio, 24 points in his rookie season and a plus 28. That's pretty good. Better than I expected. Sasaki, 21 points, plus 28. Lambos, 21 points and a plus 13. How much with us? He was a plus 14 with us in 41 games. Only 6 points, but really good shutdown pairing player for Jacob Chikrin. And a plus 38 and 14 points from Guerrero. So our defense picked up actually a good amount of points, and all of them were really good in terms of plus minus, except for our depth guy and Asplund. Goalie-wise, Pedersen was doing really well before his injury, which is very not great. Hornquist was not great, but maybe he'll do good in the playoffs. Not 100% sure if he will, but you never know. And then Galiev was amazing since getting called up. What is this? 5-0-1 in a 931, a 194. Damn. That is a way to start off your career as a 77 overall goalie. Who knows, if Hornquist is playing like crap, maybe we run with Galiev in the playoffs. So there is that. Let's take a look around the entire league to see who led in points and all that type of thing. So forward-wise, Nathan McKinnon led in points with Cole Perfetti, both of them at 102. Michkov just misses out on potentially getting a Art Ross. Agostino was also up there. So we had 2 of the top 6 100-point players. Not a lot of 100-point players this entire season. Best goal scorer this year was Hunter Boyce in Detroit. So Michkov ain't going to win the Richard this year, but he was second in goals, just above Alex DeBrincat. So there's that. Let's take a look. Best plus minus by forward for... Yeah, it was Michkov. Okay, so Michkov and Agostino. Really good season. Best defenseman for points this year, Cale Makar in Colorado. Quinn Hughes also up there. Chikrin was top 5 in points, so that's pretty good. He had the best plus minus out of the bunch, too. Best goalie this year for wins was Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in Buffalo, who had 48 wins in 74 games. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Pedersen was up there, so Pedersen might have been in contention for a Vezina this year if it wasn't for his injury, potentially. Save percentage-wise, by a starter, Jeremy Swayman, maybe. Vanacek's also up there, but yeah, Pedersen probably was going to be up there if he didn't get injured, which is really sad to see that. Gustafsson, Swayman, Vanacek, yeah. And then the best rookie this year for points was Callie Clefbaum in Vegas, followed by Justin Boyce in Montreal. Interesting. So there is that. Let me actually take a quick look at the AHL stats for our Tucson Roadrunners. I almost said Tucson again. Tucson, Kagorodov still scoring a lot of goals. He might be in the NHL next year. Same with Dalmo. At least we have a lot of guys in the system that could get up here soon. How is Appleby? 76 now. Nice. How about Bilesma? 15 points in 41 games, plus 28. Really good season from Bilesma down there in the minors after we sent him down. So that is that. And now we got to see who we're going up against in round 1. And then that'll be it for this episode. But yeah, hopefully this team can still do good without our top goaltender and our top center, because or else that would not be great. We're going to be taking on St. Louis. 43, 32, and 7, a 5-4-1 record in our last 10. Let's take a look at how they did during the regular season compared to us, and I'll be it for actually not just that. We'll also take a look at their roster, but I'm kind of curious on how they did. So they were the 7th seeded team. 3.16 as opposed to our 3.72. They scored as much as they allowed, which is kind of interesting. They had a worse power play than ours by a little bit, and their penalty kill was better than ours just because our penalty kill was trash. So there's that. Interesting. Let's take a look at that roster. I do not know what they have because we've never played the Blues before, as far as I could remember. So here's their top line. Jeffrey McDermott, I do remember this guy, though. He's a good goal scorer. He is only signed for 1 more year, so this guy might be a pending free agent. But yeah, this guy has scored like 40 goals in the past. Seems like he's slowing down a bit. But he's playing with Brad Lambert, who's pretty good, and Vitaly Kravtsov, so pretty solid top line. Second line is really good as well. Vereau is really weak. I don't know why he's playing there. He's an other forward, which is really weird. But he's playing with Isaac Pody and Patrick Laine, so 390s in their top six, which is scary as heck. Third line, of course, has Yegor Sharangovich, our former player from last season. We let him go because we wanted to bring in Sebastian Aho. Looks like he had a rough year plus-minus wise, but he is still producing pretty decently. They also got Gilbert DeVos and Marcus Turikov. And a fourth line of Jackson Eager, Jace Haynes, and Zach Ostvichuk. So they have a lot of really good players, but they also have some like really bad players. Their center depth is really good in their top three lines, and then they also have some really good wingers. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. Defensively, they have Cons in Douglas, Nystrom and Habibulin, and in Bertuzzi and Bartlett. It's not the greatest defensive core again, but once again, they're not that bad there because they got an 86, an 83, and an 82, and an 81, so I could see why they're okay defensively. And goalie-wise, they have Ted Street, who's an 87. So they have a really good goalie, and they also have a pretty solid backup. So yeah, this is a very weird-looking team and good-looking team for where they finished in the standings, so that's a little bit scary. They do have 3 depth defensemen, and they're all 75 to 77 overall, which is a little bit weird, but it is what it is. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to round 1 against the St. Louis Blues as we look to get out of the first round despite our injuries and stuff like that. And yeah, hopefully this team could get at least to the third round so we could get our main guys back. And hopefully we could get to that Stanley Cup final and whatnot. So let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.